not a planned live. I have a daughter coming home from Manchester this morning, and I thought I'd make her favourite scones because I haven't made them for her for a long time because she hasn't been here for a while. The light in here is weird because it's from the sun. So I'm making a double batch of my lemon and cherry scones. So feel free to say hello or not, join me or not join me. Now, and let's get this show on the road. So I need 4 eggs because it's a double batch, and normally I make the dry ingredients first, but I'm just doing this morning because I feel like it. How is everybody today? You know, it's the 1st of November and people are absolutely mad crazy for Christmas recipes, and I'm thinking, oh my God, we haven't even gotten over Halloween yet and we're on to Christmas. And I kind of just want to say, stop, just slow down for a bit. Honestly, because, and you know, I get messages every day saying, where's your Christmas cake recipe? Where's that? Yeah, I know we have to make things ahead of time, and I know we do have to make our puddings and things ahead of time, but you know what? My mother made her pudding literally sometimes the day before Christmas Eve. Hi from Rhode Island, how are you? Oh my gosh, it's early in the morning in Rhode Island, in the US. But Mum made her pudding sometimes the night before Christmas, and they always tasted beautiful. And I just think sometimes we're in such a rush to get to everything quickly that we forget about everything else. Hi Margaret. Oh Marge, hi Marge, how are you? God, I haven't seen you for a long time, Marge. We need to catch up. So I'm just checking my recipe. So I'm putting in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And these are really easy to make. And it's funny, when you make something a lot, you sometimes forget, do you know, that there are recipes that you make a lot. So I'm just going to check and see, did I miss? Oh, I did. You're baking muffins while watching. I love. And for some reason, the sun is shining in Enniscorthy. Very good. Sorry, I can't see the messages. So, and I have nobody here watching with me because they're all gone to collect the baby. The baby. At what point do we stop calling our children babies? I remember years ago, this very nice lady who thought she was being helpful told one of my daughters that her parents were being unkind to her because you're not a child, you're a young adult, and it's not appropriate that they call you, a child, or baby is your pet name. It's not nice. And I apologised profusely to my poor daughter. I said, I'm so sorry if I've mucked you up by calling you baby or child. And she said, I have no problem with it, Mum. It's my pet name, and it still is her pet name. So when she calls or when she texts, I say, oh, hi baby. There you go. But anyway, sure, I'm only waffling away. Feel free to go about your business somewhere else, out of this chaos that is my kitchen. So scones, I put together about 150 mils of milk. I change my recipes all the time, and people say, oh, you said before, because as I make them, they change, because I kind of go, God, that mix is a bit wet, and so I fix things as I go along. So at the moment, I'm using about 60 to 70 mils of milk with 2 eggs for my standard scones. So I have 80 grams of butter, which I always put in first into my little food processor, with 250 grams of self-raising flour. So this should come to 330 in total. The old maths is important, you know. There's that. Then I'm also going to put in, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but today I'm going to put in my sugar along with that. So there's just 25 grams of sugar in this. So that's 25, yeah. 36 and 25 is 61, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay. Might have put in too much there. Never mind. Okay. And then I'm going to blitz those in this little mini food processor. People ask me about this food processor all the time. Kenwood gifted it to me last year. It is possibly the single most used item in our house. I mean ever. It is constantly on the go. It is brilliant. It's a small size, so I have to do the batch twice. So that's one batch, and then I'm doing a second batch, the same. So here we go again, zero the scales, another 80 grams of butter. And I just chop it. It's the butter, preferably for scones, it wants to be from the fridge, because you do want your butter to be nice and cold so that it does that nice kind of crumb texture for you. So 80 plus 250, 330 I have to get to. My mother will be so proud. I'm using my maths. Use your maths, don't lose it. Okay, but I can't for sugar this time, but sure. We like a bit of sugar in our house. I better zero it, watch. Down to zero, 25 grams it says. That's 25 grams. If for luck. There we go. Now, I didn't add my spices. I'll throw them into this one because then I can mix it through afterwards. So what you want is you want a teaspoon of nutmeg. So I have a teaspoon measure here, but sure, I never use it. So I'm just going to put it in. That's probably about 2 teaspoons because I have 2 portions of this to do. And you want a teaspoon of allspice. It's a half a teaspoon for half the recipe. And that's about a half a teaspoon. And I think baking is tastiest when you go on intuition and you kind of look and say, yeah, I think that's right. It also means sometimes things don't always taste the same as other things. Or as when you previously made it, and you go, oh, did you like those? Yeah, I don't know, what did I do in those? Okay, here we go. Last bit of the noise. And this will go in here. And I don't have a wooden spoon. I'm going to use a knife to put this together. So, I have my cherries and I have my lemon. I need 2 lemons because I'm doing a double batch. And it says in the recipe to use 75 grams of cherries. I have 100 grams here and I need to add a few more, and because this child loves cherries, like she loves these scones. They're her favourite scones of all. No matter how many times I make them, and I'd be making different ones for the blog, she'll always say, Mom, just make these scones, will you? So I do. And I'm washing and drying my cherries. People ask me why I wash and dry the cherries. Because when the cherries come, they come with a sticky coating on them, like a sugary coating. And I want to get rid of that so that these will not sink in your cooking. Please feel free to move on because this is a slow process. When you see the video of me doing this and it takes 1.5 minutes. It takes so much longer in real life, but not that long, I think. So I have no idea if they're on their way home yet. Hopefully they are, because I've turned off notifications on my phone. So, oh my gosh, they could be ringing me desperately saying we're stuck somewhere and I don't even know it. These are nice little cherries, they're small. And actually it's a great pack, look. You can't get those in the Super Values, but you can get them in the Centras and the Lundus's Gem. And I'm a brand ambassador for them, but their products are really good quality. And they have extra products available in the Lundus and the Centras, and they often have deals on them. So they're worth keeping an eye out for. In Ireland, sorry, not in Rhode Island, in America, but I am an Irish mammy who cooks. So I'm thinking of doing a series in the future, and I don't know. It depends. Okay, I have to wash these because I didn't wash them yet. it's hard, you know, sometimes to keep the momentum of blogging going. And you kind of think people will be tired. What do you want people, what do they want me to do? Or what do they want me to share next? Yes, the Christmas stuff, but it's kind of hard sometimes to come up with ideas. So I have this little idea. I can't tell you, because if I tell you, somebody else will take it from me and use it instead of me, and they'll come up with this fantastic idea. People say, where did you get that? And they won't say, actually, IrishMammyCooks came up with it. So, but I'm hoping to get to work on it maybe in the next few weeks. We'll see. And it may be on YouTube that I'll do it as a kind of a long form video. I don't know. For people here who find it hard to find my recipes on Instagram, I have a YouTube page and you can find them quite easily there. And I also have a Facebook page. And on Facebook, there is a search option when you go into my homepage where it says follow or following. On the right hand side of that, there are 3 little dots. And the 3 little dots bring you to a page where you can search. And so today, to get the recipe for this, I went into my Facebook page and I searched for lemon cherry scones. And guess what came up? This recipe, which I've now tweaked a bit because of course I can't help myself. Okay, so that's that. I need the knife. Now, why do we not use something else to bring this together? Because the trick, I never knew this, but the trick with scones, Mammy's scones, and don't get at me for using eggs. God, people on YouTube, that is not a scone. No scones have ever had eggs in them except with pumpkin. You're thinking, so you're saying my mother was a liar all these years? These are really nice scones. And I've used her recipe, and she's used her recipe. Mum is dead now 3 years, but she made her recipe for I don't know how many years. And always used eggs in them. So you know what? I'm using eggs. I'm just checking that. It feels a bit sticky. Not anymore. Always have a cloth and a towel beside you for those situations. Okay, so here we go, lemon zest. Not a brand ambassador for John's, but that is Nevin McGuire's Cook microplane grater, and it is fantastic. I absolutely love it. And I have 4 or 5 different ones in the cupboard, but this is the one I pick up every time. I actually bought it for one of the girls, and she took it home from college one summer, and it just stayed in the house. Never went back. Now, if you wanted to make this smell more and taste more of lemons, you could also add some lemon extract to your mix. I'm not adding it today, but you could. There is my mix. And I have a couple of little lumpy bits of butter in there. See that? Look. Tiny little lumpy bit of butter, but I don't mind that. I'm just using the knife to cut it slightly. It just means that there'll be a moment in one of those scones that's delicious. Okay, so I have this mix here, ready to go. I'm not pouring the entire thing in, because if you pour the entire thing in, you can't take any of it out. So pour most of it in and then you can come back. So I'm pouring that much in. So I've left about 20 mils, 30 mils behind, 20 mils behind. And then you use your knife, look, to bring that together. This is why I love baking, it's so therapeutic. The repetitive action of bringing this scone together is just magnificent. There we go. So that's nearly right, but if you look underneath, there's loads of dry mix still. So I'm going to add a little more of this down there, bring it up together again. And it calls for a little bit of patience, because if you belt at this, you make sort of a stiff dough. You don't want this to be a tough dough. Now my oven has been on, it's a 200 Celsius fan behind me, and the dishwasher. They're all going this morning. We have night rate electricity, but Paddy doesn't like turning on appliances during the night because, of course, you could set the house on fire. I don't know if anybody else has a husband like that. I don't mind. He could be right. So I've used all of that mix there. So what I did for this quantity was, or for the single quantity, I used about 75 mils of milk. And there we have it. See, a bit of elbow grease in that. Whoever says baking is not exercise. Now, at that point, it's almost all together. I'm going to throw this out onto my counter. And to put them on the counter, you need flour. So you just don't put the flour in on top of yourself, and that's how you don't get your clothes dirty, you know? And then I just lob that out. Is that what they say the word is? And then there's a little bit of dry mix there, do you see that? And then there's some on the knife. Don't want to miss any of it or lose any of it. There we go. Sleeves up. And then on top of it again, you put more flour. Now, this is how you knead. Do you see that? You don't want to be heavy with this. So it's like you lift it like a baby and then you use this part of your hand to press it in. And it's quite a wet dough at the moment, so that's why lots of flour on the counter. Do I put in less of the mix, the wet mix? No, for some reason you do want to do a little bit of this, but just a gentle amount of it, not too much. And you'll find, oh, the outside of that is fine, but actually still needs a little. Now, I know that's going to be a nice scone because as I'm lifting that, there's kind of a bounce in it. Do you see? So I want to kind of just bring it together. Nice bounce in it there. See the bounce? Nice bounce. One last bit, and I find if you don't put in enough wet mix that it loses its bounce. So, see, you bring kind of these bits into the middle. Into the middle. Just going to put a little bit of flour in there. Into the middle. I've never done this much kneading of it before, but actually it's working quite nicely. And that's it. So, oh, and lots of lovely cherries in that. Here we go. And then you roll. You don't roll too madly. And I have to be honest with you, I could make these in lovely little shapes, but I really like the rectangular scones. So this looks like it won't make very many, but it will, I promise. Okay. This, I used to love Mum doing this bit, you know, the way she'd rub all the dough mix off her hands. And then, unbelievably, she'd mix it into the dough. That'll just sit on top, it's fine. So how thick is that? There it is. It's about just under 2 centimetres. I'll use this tray here, and look, no waste. I'm going to take some of that flour this way. If you're buttering your tray for your tart, this is how you do it. You butter first and then you put the flour in on top, and then look, you think you won't get the whole tray, but you do. Watch. It's hard to do facing away from yourself, but look, suddenly that tray is now covered in flour. And then hit it. Get rid of the excess, and there it is. I'm going to use a sharp knife to cut these. So, and I'm going to kind of shape it so that we don't have cornery edges. Although sometimes people like the cornery edges. So these are bigger scones than I'd normally make. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Now, do you see how closely together I put them? So they're quite close, they're not touching, but they're close together, because what happens is when they're cooking, they won't spread out, they'll spread up because there's no room to spread out. They'll join together, and the join together is the bit that I love the most. That join together is really tasty because it's the bit that is really soft on the edge. Put that one there. There we go. I don't know, what Mum said these are too close together, but sure. She's not here to tell me otherwise, so I'm just going on instinct. There you go. And you see, you look at this dough and you think, oh, you get very few scones out of that. Shocker, hold on. I need to clean that little bit there. See, when I moved the flour, got a little bit of flour on the edge, a little bit of flour on the clothes, but now it's gone. Here we go. So that's the size of my scone. That's about, I suppose, 4 centimetres square-ish. And they don't have to be all the same standard size. This is going to almost fill my tray for the oven. There's a little piece there that's kind of stuck out. I'm going to just add that to the other piece in a minute because I don't want it on my scone. Oh yeah, I'll make slightly longer ones there. There's a nice one there. You can see as I do this, I kind of reshape and remeasure things, so I need to do that again because I don't like the dip in it. So no, I'm not a perfectionist when I cook, but yes I am sometimes. It's very bad. That piece has a little edge on it that I don't like. I'll take that out. There we go. So there are my two. And then this bit here, do you see this? Because it has a little dip in it, a loop in it. I'm just going to bring it back together again. That one's perfect. But I'm going to bring this bit together again so that there isn't a kind of a piece. Do you know the way sometimes when you knead it and there's a little piece missing or a little piece that's kind of extra on it? A little bit of flour back onto that one. And there you go. I won't get too out of that, so I'll cut the ends off this here like this to make it uniform with the others. Sometimes those kind of triangular ones are very popular. Now, this won't fully fill my tray, but it'll be near enough. And what you can do is, if it doesn't fully fill your tray, you can like add a tin or something, or add a bit of tin foil or parchment to the end so that, there we go. Let's just do that as 2. See? So that's enough, and I'm just going to leave it like that. So these ones here will probably stretch a little bit, but that's it. 15 minutes, because these will be cooked if you want to, and I'll just bring you back live then. I'm cooking them at 200 Celsius fan, and I cook them after 10 minutes. Now, I'm still here. See this thing. You want to go to Home Store and More today and buy this. This is a Xylus. I just like that brand. But look at what it does. Look. And I used to take, oh my God, forever to clean this up. It used to drive me mad. And then I started doing this and I thought, why did I not do this before? This is great for cutting bread. It's good. You could have cut your scones with it if you wanted to. And it's great for when you're doing Christmas cakes and you're decorating them. You can cut your fondant with it. It's a really handy little gadget to have in your kitchen. So, there you go. Scones done. They should be home in about 10 minutes, which means the scones will be literally out of the oven. Hope you enjoyed that. I will come on live very briefly for just 2 minutes to show you what they look like, and hopefully I won't have burnt them. I almost took the house down, knocked over the lights. Anyway, got the dishes done from the baking. I just didn't put away the stuff yet, but that's literally 12 minutes. Have a look. Scones! And people don't believe that those scones will rise. Now they are ever so slightly doughy, but that's because that's the way we like them. And they will sit and they will just cook. That last little bit of doughiness will cook out of them, but they'll still be not too overcooked. So look, can you see those? They are really lovely and they're beautiful. There's a nice rustic look to the top of them. Really tasty. Anyway, I hope you try making them. Enjoy if you do, and I'm away to have fun with my family. They weren't home the last time. I thought they had arrived in the door, but they weren't home, but they should be in any minute now.